So, good morning to everybody. I welcome personally and on behalf of our Science College, RV, District Varda, in this state level one day state level one day webinar on new education policy challenges and opportunities. Dear friends, I welcome all delegates, researchers, students, and teachers in this webinar. National Education Policy 2020 outlines the vision of India's new education system. The policy identifies teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process. As envisioned by policymakers, the policy will empower teachers of India and list out various reforms for their recruitment, continuous professional development, service conditions, etc. Today's webinar will surely help to understand the implications of new education policy 2020 on education excellence in schools and colleges and discuss new techniques and methods for enhancing competency of teachers. The motive behind organizing this webinar is to identify relevant, innovative pedagogical approaches used in the education sector and to deliberate upon creating global standards among teachers. Once again, I welcome all the delegates, teachers, scholars, students in this one-day state-level webinar on new education policy, challenges and opportunities. Let's start with the inauguratory function of this webinar. Today, for inaugural function, we have got advocates. And Principal Arts, Commerce, Science College, RV, as the chairperson of this inaugural function. Department of History, Art, Commerce, and Science College, RV, to give introductory speech and to give the introduction of the inaugurator of today's webinar, Dr. Deepak Chauhan. Hello. Namaskar.
अरे येत नाही आवाज आवाज नाही इकडे
काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे
आवाज नाही येते तुम आता आला सर आवाज एक आवाज आला आवाज सर
हो माझा येतोय चव्हाण सरांचा काय प्रॉब्लेम
चव्हाण सरांचा नाही येते मला
स्टार्टिंग पासून या स्टार्टिंग पासून
कला वाणिज्य विज्ञान महाविद्यालयाच्या वतीने
आला आता.
या ठिकाणी मी सर्व सन्माननीय पाहुण्यांचं हार्दिक स्वागत करतो. कला वाणिज्य विज्ञान महाविद्यालयाच्या वतीने आज ऑनलाईन वेबिनारचं या ठिकाणी आयोजन करण्यात आलेलं आहे. या वेबिनारचा उद्घाटन सोहळा या ठिकाणी आज संपन्न होत आहे. या सोहळ्याचे अध्यक्ष महाविद्यालयाचे प्राचार्य डॉक्टर हरिभाऊ वेरुळकर सर. या वेबिनारच्या उद्घाटक कृषक शिक्षण संस्थेच्या अध्यक्षा आदरणीय शोभाताई काळे, तसेच जे 2 टेक्निकल सेशन आजच्या या वेबिनारच्या निमित्ताने आयोजित केलेले आहे. या पहिल्या टेक्निकल सेशनचे रिसोर्स पर्सन डॉक्टर पी.बी. माहेश्वरी सर, डीन सायन्स अँड टेक्नॉलॉजी फॅकल्टी, राष्ट्रसंत तुकडोजी महाराज नागपूर युनिव्हर्सिटी नागपूर. दुसऱ्या टेक्निकल सेशनचे रिसोर्स पर्सन डॉक्टर श्याम कोरेट्टी, इतिहास विभाग प्रमुख, राष्ट्रसंत तुकडोजी महाराज नागपूर युनिव्हर्सिटी नागपूर, असोसिएट डीन, राष्ट्रसंत तुकडोजी महाराज नागपूर युनिव्हर्सिटी नागपूर. तसेच दोन्ही टेक्निकल सेशनचे अध्यक्ष स्वर्गीय नारायणराव काळे स्मृती महाविद्यालय कारंजा महाविद्यालयाचे प्राचार्य डॉक्टर संजय धनवटे. तसेच दुसऱ्या टेक्निकल सेशनचे अध्यक्ष वसंतराव कोलटकर महाविद्यालयाचे प्राचार्य डॉक्टर नितीन माथनकर. या वेबिनारला ऑनलाईन पद्धतीने जे प्रतिनिधी जॉईन झालेले आहेत त्या सर्वांचं सुद्धा मी या ठिकाणी हार्दिक स्वागत करतो. आजचा हा जो वेबिनार महाविद्यालयाच्या वतीने आणि 16 महाविद्यालयाचा जो समूह बनवण्यात आलेला आहे, जे क्लस्टर बनवण्यात आलेला आहे, यांच्या संयुक्त विद्यमाने आज या वेबिनारचं या ठिकाणी आयोजित करण्यात आलेला आहे. या वेबिनारचा जो विषय आहे नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरण. या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणाच्या बाबतीमध्ये ज्या काही संधी आणि आव्हानं उच्च शिक्षण क्षेत्राच्या बाबतीमध्ये आहेत त्या संबंधीचा उलगडा व्हावा आणि याची माहिती उच्च शिक्षण क्षेत्रामध्ये काम करणाऱ्या सर्व प्राध्यापक मंडळींना व इतर व्यक्तींना मिळावी या दृष्टिकोनातून या वेबिनारचं या ठिकाणी आम्ही आयोजन केलेलं आहे. जवळपास 34 वर्षानंतर आपल्या देशाचं नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरण हे 2020 मध्ये जाहीर करण्यात आलेलं आहे आणि या शैक्षणिक धोरणाची अंमलबजावणी येणाऱ्या 2023-24 या सत्रामध्ये करण्यात येणार आहे. डॉक्टर कस्तुरी रंगन यांच्या अध्यक्षतेखाली नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरण तयार करण्यासाठी एक समिती स्थापन करण्यात आलेली होती आणि या समितीने आपला जो अहवाल सरकारला स्थापन केला त्या अहवालाच्या अनुषंगाने 2020 मध्ये या शैक्षणिक धोरणाची अंमलबजावणी किंवा शैक्षणिक धोरण भारतामध्ये आणण्यात आलेलं आहे. या शैक्षणिक धोरणाच्या बाबतीमध्ये प्राथमिक शिक्षण, माध्यमिक शिक्षण आणि उच्च शिक्षण अशा प्रकारे वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे विचार, वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारच्या सूचना या शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये करण्यात आलेल्या आहेत. आजच्या या वेबिनारमध्ये प्रामुख्याने आपल्याला उच्च शिक्षणाच्या बाबतीमध्ये ज्या काही संधी आहेत किंवा जे काही आव्हानं आहेत त्या संबंधीची चर्चा आजच्या या वेबिनारच्या दृष्टिकोनातून घडवून आणण्याचा मानस आमचा आहे. कारण या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये अकॅडमिक बँक क्रेडिट सिस्टम, वेगवेगळ्या विषयामध्ये वेगवेगळ्या संस्थेमध्ये अभ्यास करण्याच्या संधी, त्यानंतर जी क्रेडिट सिस्टम लागू करण्यात आलेली आहे त्या क्रेडिट सिस्टीमला एकत्रित करून त्या क्रेडिट सिस्टीमच्या माध्यमातून पदवी प्राप्त करून घेणे आणि त्या पदवीच्या माध्यमातून नोकरी प्राप्त करून घेणे अशा प्रकारची वेगवेगळी वैशिष्ट्ये या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणाची आहेत. या नवीन वैशिष्ट्यांची आणि या नवीन धोरणाची माहिती सर्व उच्च शिक्षण क्षेत्रामध्ये कार्य करणाऱ्या व्यक्तींना व्हावी या दृष्टिकोनातून आपण या वेबिनारचं आयोजन या ठिकाणी करण्यात आलेलं आहे. अनेक प्रकारच्या सूचना, अनेक प्रकारच्या गोष्टी या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये डॉक्टर कस्तुरी रंगन यांच्या अध्यक्षतेखालील समितीने सुचविलेल्या आहेत आणि त्या सर्व गोष्टींचा आपल्या भारत सरकारने केलेला आहे. त्या सूचनांची अंमलबजावणी येणाऱ्या 2023-24च्या सत्रापासून होणार आहे. तसं की आज सध्याच्या शिक्षण पद्धतीमध्ये पदवी अभ्यासक्रम हा 3 वर्षाचा आहे, परंतु नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये हा पदवी अभ्यासक्रम 4 वर्षाचा करण्यात आलेला आहे आणि त्या 4 वर्षाच्या अभ्यासक्रमामध्ये संशोधन करणं हे विद्यार्थ्यांना कंपल्सरी करण्यात आलेलं आहे. त्यानंतर जे काही शिक्षण दिल्या जाणार आहे हे स्थानिक भाषेमध्ये देण्यात यावं अशा प्रकारची सूचना सुद्धा या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये करण्यात आलेली आहे. वेगवेगळ्या विद्यापीठामध्ये वेगवेगळ्या महाविद्यालयामध्ये बहुविध शाखांची रचना बहुविध शाखांची सुरुवात करण्यात यावी अशा प्रकारची सुद्धा सूचना करण्यात आलेली आहे. अशा ह्या वेगवेगळ्या सूचना या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणाच्या माध्यमातून डॉक्टर कस्तुरी रंगन समितीने केलेल्या आहेत. या सूचनाचा स्वीकार भारत सरकारने विद्यापीठांनी महाविद्यालयांनी केलेला आहे. परंतु महाविद्यालयाला विद्यापीठांना या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणाच्या बाबतीमध्ये ज्या काही अडचणी जाणार आहेत किंवा आपण या क्षेत्रामध्ये कार्य करताना आपल्याला ज्या काही अडचणी जाणार आहेत त्या अडचणीचा उलगडा या चर्चासत्राच्या माध्यमातून या उद्देशाने हे शैक्षणिक धोरण या शैक्षणिक धोरणावर आपण चर्चासत्र आयोजित केलेलं आहे. या शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये जवळपास 30 वर्षाचा मसुदा 30 वर्षाचं प्लॅनिंग भविष्यातल्या 30 वर्षाचं प्लॅनिंग या शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये करण्यात आलेलं आहे. म्हणून या शैक्षणिक नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणाच्या बाबतीमध्ये डॉक्टर माहेश्वरी सर डॉक्टर श्याम कोरेड्डी सर हे आपल्याला विस्तृतपणे माहिती या ठिकाणी सांगणार आहेत. मी या वेबिनार करिता आपल्या सर्वांचं मनपूर्वक या ठिकाणी स्वागत करतो आणि मी माझं प्रास्ताविक संपवतो. आणि या वेबिनारच्या ज्या उद्घाटक आहेत कृषक शिक्षण संस्थेच्या अध्यक्ष ऍडव्होकेट शोभाताई काळे ह्या आमच्या मार्गदर्शक असून शोभाताई काळे मागच्या 25-30 वर्षापासून शैक्षणिक क्षेत्रामध्ये उत्कृष्ट असं कार्य करत आहेत. भारत व कृषक शिक्षण संस्था या दोन संस्थेच्या त्या अध्यक्ष आहेत. या व्यतिरिक्त त्यांना शिक्षण क्षेत्रामध्ये कार्य करण्याची फार मोठी आवड आहे आणि अशा या शिक्षण क्षेत्रामध्ये कार्य करणाऱ्या व्यक्तींना आम्ही आज या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणाच्या उद्घाटन सोहळ्याचे उद्घाटन या ठिकाणी आमंत्रित केलेलं आहे. तरी मी शोभाताई काळे यांचं हार्दिक या ठिकाणी स्वागत करतो आणि मी माझं प्रस्ताविक संपवतो. धन्यवाद.
सेंटर मध्ये येतं ना इकडे.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chavan sir, Head of the Department of History, Arts, Commerce, Science College, RV. Thank you for your few words. And in your few words, you have made crystal clear the entire theme and the motive behind organizing this webinar. Thank you once again. Now, I would like to invite Advocate Shobhatai Kale ma'am to enlighten us with her valuable thoughts. Advocate Shobhatai Kale.
Namaskar. Warm greeting for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I, Advocate Shobhatai, welcome you all to the one-day workshop on new education policy organized by Department of History of prestigious Arts, Commerce and Science College, RV. At the outset, I wish to thank all the experts and academicians for taking their precious time and making this event. Before we begin, please allow me to deliver a short inaugural speech of this event. In the rapid changing scenario in Indian subcontinent, the responsibility lies on the shoulders of academicians, colleagues, and students. The new education policy will definitely play a key role in all walks of life. I am sure our experts must have done their bit of studying around the topic, and so our audience. This is a topic that each citizen of the nation can relate with. Despite our relentless efforts in the field of education after independence, it is unfortunate that we have not been able to uplift hazards, social, economic, political, ethical, etc. from our society. These events affect the society and employability of the working class. Opportunity is a wonderful blessing that it can elevate a person from Paichim to the towering genius. The key contents of this new education policy highlight the same. I read about the credit system, certificate courses, skill development, cluster colleges, optional subjects, etc., incorporated in NEP, ease of entry and exist in the graduation level. It will make sure optimum use of capacity students to have their own choices and selections of courses. This will boost the skills, which will eventually help the economy and enhance the society standards. A nation that gives options to its citizens aids in economic, educational, and mental capacity of its people, becomes a prosperous nation. It is really a welcome move on the part of the government. The experts will deal deeper in the subjects. Presently, I would like to take a pause and declare the official inauguration of the seminar. The experts are ready with a wealth of knowledge, and you all are eager to listen to their words of first-hand opinions. As an inaugurator of the seminar, I announce that the inauguration of this day seminar on new education policy is done my best for the success of seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your enlightening thoughts and valuable thoughts. Now, I will like to invite Dr. H.R. Yodkar sir for enlightening us with his valuable. Dr. Yodkar sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, hello, dear friends. I am Dr. Verurkar. Welcomes you in this one-day state level webinar on NEP 2020 challenges and opportunities organized by COTI, a cluster of 13 institutions. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I remember our visionary, Honorable late Shri N.R. Kale and late Advocate D.N. Kale, who were the ex-president of our Krishak Education Society. Existing President, Honorable Advocate Shobhate Kale, Secretary Sri Pradeep Bhau Kale, Treasurer Sri Sandeep Bhau Kale, Honorable Speakers, Dr. Maheshwari, Dr. Koreti, Honorable Chairpersons of Technical Session, Dr. Dhanvate, Dr. Mathankar, Organizer, Dr. Deepak Chauhan, all principal friends from COTI, all IQAC coordinators from COTI, organizing committee members, Dr. Khadse, Dr. Kende, Dr. Gumre, technical advisor, Dr. Sote, Professor Khandare, and my dear participants, once again, warm morning, warm welcome. Union Cabinet paved the way for transformative reform in schools and higher education system by launching the NEP 2020 on 29 July 2020. They also renamed MHRD, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development, as ME, Ministry of Education. After old NEP, which was launched in 1986, this is the first education policy of 21st century that has replaced 24 years old educational policy. NEP 2020 based on 4 pillars, and those are access, equity, quality, and accountability. NAP has 5+3+3+4 pattern or structure instead of old 10+2 structure. Major reforms that we read or we know from various literature in this NAP 2020 is that from preschool to secondary by the end of 2030, this NAP aims to bring 2 crore students into mainstream and 100% gross enrollment ratio, making schools and colleges more flexible, holistic, multidisciplinary, and board examination for 10th and 12th will be continued but will redesigned with the aim of holistic development. Prakash, a long form of Prakash is performance, assessment, reviewed, and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. A new national assessment platform will be set up by this NAP 2020. Mathematical thinking and scientific temper coding will start from class 6. Vocational education also starts from schooling, which includes internship also. Till grade 5, National Education Policy emphasizes local regional language, mother tongue as a medium of instruction. Sanskrit will be included at schooling and higher education level with 3 language formula. Higher education will receive flexibility in a subject. There will be multiple entry and exit points. That means at first year, if some student exit from first year, then he will get certificate. If he exit from second year, he will get diploma, and after third year, he will get degree. Academic bank of credit, which is academic credits earned by student, will be stored through different higher education institutions, and it will transfer and counted for final degree, etc. Curriculum has been reduced so that students go for critical thinking, discovery, inquiry, discussion, teaching, and teaching-based analysis. E-learning to reduce dependency on textbook. 6% of GDP will get for implementation of NAP 2020. By the end of 2040, all higher education institutions become multidisciplinary and having 300 and more students. After 15 years, college affiliation will be phased out and achieving 100% youth and adult literacy. These are some major reforms and main aims of NAP 2020. But still, with all these aims and reforms, there are some challenges in this NAP 2020. Language barrier is also one of the most challenge, because language barrier is negative consideration in NAP, as each subject cannot be taught in mother tongue. NAP 2020 offers dropout facility, because from first year, if some student get certificate, that he may drop out from his degree education. Local lack of integration, multi-languageism debate, lack of funds, moving has over-ambitious, pedagogical limitations, institutional limitations, and issues with examination. These are some challenges before NAP 2020. Our experts, speakers have in-depth knowledge in this regard, and preferably we are focusing over higher education. So I say thanks to organizer for being having me to share a few words with you about NAP 2020. Thank you. Thanks once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for your stimulating and informative speech. In very few words, you made crystal clear what is National Education Policy 2020. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Kende sir
to propose the vote of thanks of this inauguratory function. Dr. Candice.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, I welcome you all in this wonderful webinar, the new education policy, challenges and opportunity. It's been privileged to propose vote of thanks for the inaugural session of the webinar. I am extremely grateful to the chairperson of the webinar, Dr. H.R. Verulkar, Honorable Principal of Arts, Commerce and Science College, for sharing his words of wisdom with us. I express a deep sense of gratitude to Advocate Subhatai Kari, President, Krishak Education Society, RV, for sparing time from her busy schedule to grace the occasion and agree to inaugurate the webinar. We are thankful to you, ma'am. I am grateful to Dr. Deepak Chauhan, Head Department of History, Arts, Commerce and Science College, RV, for the introductory remarks and organization of the webinar. I express my thanks to Dr. V.M. Khatse sir for preparing the session, and I also express my deep sense of gratitude to all the participants who had joined for the webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you for proposing the top thanks of inauguratory session of this state level final. Now, I declare that the inaugural function of this webinar is over. Now, we all will move to the technical first session of this webinar. And for this first technical session, we have got Dr. P.B. Maheshwari, Dean Science and Technology, Rashtra Chandrapati Maharaj Nagpur University, Nagpur, as a resource person. And the chairperson of this first technical session is Dr. Sanjay Dhanwate, Principal Narayan Rao Kale Smriti College, Karanja Ghati. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Neeraj Kendi sir to do the introduction of resource person and the chairperson of this first technical session. Neeraj Kendi.
Thank you very much, sir. As we are moving into first technical session, the chairperson of the technical session is Dr. Sanjay Dhanwate sir. He is the principal of late Narayan Rao Kale Smriti College, Karanja Ghadge. Then the resource person of the program, Dr. P.B. Maheshwari, Dean Science and Technology, RTU Nagpur. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Maheshwari sir. Dr. P.B. Maheshwari sir is a Dean Science and Technology, RTU Nagpur University, Nagpur. He's also a director of Multi-Facility Computing Center for RTU, and formerly he was director of Jaidev Education Society, Nagpur, which runs JD College of Engineering and Management in Nagpur. He's a professor of mechanical engineer. He is a double doctorate. It's a remarkable thing that he is a double doctorate in mechanical engineering. First, he obtained his PhD degree from Rajiv Gandhi Technical University, Bhopal, in the specialization of mechanical designing. Second PhD is from RTM Nagpur University, Nagpur, in the specialization of thermal engineering, MTech design from VNIT. He is a recipient of ISPE Best Engineering College Teachers of Maharashtra State 2019 award by the chairman of the AICTE, Dr. A.B. Sahasrabudhe. He was also received ISTE Best Principal for Polytechnical Colleges of Maharashtra State 2020 award. He has filed and published 10 patents. He has published 35 research papers in international and national journals. He has also authored 3 books and 3 book chapters in engineering subject. His uh, his other achievements are he's a member and director of various committees held in the university as chairman board of studies institute of robotic RTMU Nagpur University from 2018 to 2021 onward, chairman board of studies mechanical engineer RTMU Nagpur University 2004 to 2008, academic council and member of RTMU Nagpur University 2004 to 2008, and also a chairman of Indian uh, Society for Technical Education ISTE Maharashtra Goa from 2000 since 2009 to 2011, National Executive Council member for ISTE New Delhi 2006 to 2008, and also a member of MPSC paper setter for mechanical engineering stream. So it's been our honor to have such a great personality with us. So I wish you all the best, sir, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to introduce such an eminent personality. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy sir. Thank you very much for such a nice introduction of such a nice resource person and the chairperson of the first technical session, Dr. Dhanvate sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Maheshwari sir to deliver his speech. Dr. Maheshwari sir, over to Maheshwari sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I would like to share my screen. So, should I do that, or am I
Yes,
allowed to share the screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
The message comes that host disabled participant screen sharing.
Now you can share your screen, sir. Okay, sir, your screen is visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. The learned principal of the college, the chairman of the session, Dr. Dhanvate, the organizers of this event, my dear participants, teachers, head of the departments, and dear students. A very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I am thankful to the Professor Kende for introducing me and showering the kind words. Also thankful to the organizers and the learned principal for providing me an opportunity to interact with the participants in this special function which has been arranged by the college. Today, I am going to talk with you a very small part of National Education Policy 2020, which is basically very important to the teachers and the student, that is use of ICT tools, its importance and relevance to academics. The outcome of my lecture will be, because we are in the era of outcome-based education. So whatever we deliver, even if we deliver a lecture of 1 hour, we must know that what is the outcome of this lecture. Outcome means what a student will be able to learn after a learning experience, or what the participants will be able to understand or will be able to aware or learn at the end of this lecture of mine. So the participants, the students should always be aware, must know that what is going to be the outcome of the learning experience. That may be an expert lecture, guest lecture, keynote address, or normally the lectures or the instructions which we impart into the classroom. When a student will be able to know that what he is going to learn at the end of the session, that is also known to the instructor, that is a teacher. when teacher also knows what outcome he has to deliver or what a student should be able to learn after a 1 hour learning experience of the instructor, and if the student also knows, then the student and teachers are at the common platform. Teacher will check by way of some questions or some assessment instruments that whatever he has delivered for 1 hour and what was the intended outcome, whether that intended outcome was achieved or not. And at the same time, students also will understand that because they are aware that what will be the outcome of this 1 hour teaching, 1 hour learning experience. So they also will understand whether they have achieved that outcome or not. And if there is no gap or there is minimum gap between the outcome to be achieved and outcome achieved, or intended outcome and achieved outcome, if there is no gap or there is a minimum gap, then that particular learning experience is considered as an excellent learning experience where there is no gap between what I'm teaching and what a student is learning or what a student is expected to learn. And therefore, the first outcome of my 1 hour deliberations will be the participants will be able to learn that how outcome-based teaching plan is prepared, understand the importance of flipped learning, and will be able to know few ICT tools useful for teaching learning in classroom. Now, at the end of my lecture, the participants have to give the feedback, or participants have to know that whatever outcome I decided for the participants, whether those outcomes are achieved or not. If the outcomes are achieved, I giving the lecture here was successful, and if are not achieved, means there is some gap I need to improve upon. And then next time when I deliver such lecture, I should see to it that wherever there was a flaw, wherever there was a gap, that gap should be bridged by incorporating few more features into the lecture, so that based on the feedback of the participants, so that next time when I deliver, the gap should be minimum or there should be no gap. Let us go to the next slide, which is the outcome-based teaching plan. Here, I will try to, here, what I'm going to do is this outcome-based teaching plan is prepared for a subject, chemistry. Okay, let us try to understand the concept behind it or the fundamentals behind this. Say, for example, if you are teaching, I request the organizer to please give me the feedback whenever you are not able to hear me, or whenever you are not able to see the slide, relevant slide. Okay. Say, for example, you are teaching a subject of 3 credits. When we say 3 credits, means in a semester of 15 weeks, 45 hours, I'm going to deliver the session in a class over a semester. Because the course is of 3 credits. So 1 credit is equivalent to 15 hours. 1 credit of theory is equivalent to 15 hours in a week. So because I'm delivering a subject of 3 credits, it will be 15 3s are 45. 45 hours I have to deliver. Now we have to understand that the complete curriculum is to be divided into 45 hours. So the serial number 1 will be the number of hours, lecture number, then the next column will be the lecture number, first lecture, second lecture. Like this, you will have to mention the 45 lectures. And the first lecture, when I am writing, you have to write the contents you are going to cover in that first lecture. Whether that first lecture is of 48 minutes or whether that first lecture is of 1 hour, accordingly, depending on the time or the duration provided to you, you need to write the content as to what you are going to teach. Okay, once you have decided that this is the content I'm going to teach, you must write that what will be the outcome of this content of 1 hour. What a student should be able to learn after you deliver a lecture of 1 hour. And that 1 hour lecture will be called as the learning experience of 1 hour. Okay. So once the outcome is decided, contents are decided, outcome is decided, then a teacher has to write that which textbook of which author, which edition, which publisher, and from which page to which page, the content which you have written for 1 hour is given directly in the textbook. Okay. The students who are having the habit to read in little depth need some additional resource material. Then you also need to write the reference book. That reference book, the title of the reference book, author of the reference book, publisher of the reference book, edition of the reference book, and also the page number of the reference book, where the contents written in the column number 4 are given. Okay. Once that is done, then it is expected that a teacher should also write the URL address. URL address means that URL address will be of a video, wherein from which minute to which minute, say for example 19.55 minutes to 38.05 minute, those contents are delivered through a video lecture. Also, you need to give the reference of a research paper, that is the digital object identifier, DOI of a reference research paper, wherein this concept is discussed maybe in an applied fashion. You also have to write the website address of an industry where this particular concept is available in terms of a process or a product on a particular machine. When you give the student complete resource material, that is what you have given a textbook, you have given a reference book, you have given a URL video wherein that content is mentioned, you have also given the research paper where this particular concept is being described, and that research paper you have given in terms of the digital object identifier. The moment digital object identifier is there, and if I click that DOI, immediately that paper gets popped up on my screen, and I can see that this concept, how that concept is explained into that research paper in an applied fashion. Similarly, we also give the website of the industry. There is some disturbance. Sir, there is a disturbance.
पाहून लिहिला पूर्ण, पण ठीक आहे, लिहिला तर झाला ना. रोज येणारे नाही लिहित.
Come on, sir.
बाकीचे म्यूट करा सगळे. बाकी सगळ्यांचे म्यूट करा. सगळ्यांचे माइक म्यूट करा पार्टिसिपेंट्सचे.
Should I continue?
Yes.
Like this, when you have prepared the complete detailing of 1 hour, in the similar fashion, you have to complete the detail of 45 hours of a 3-credit course. Had it been a 2-credit course, you would have done it for 30 hours. Had it been a 1-credit course, you would have done it for 15 hours. Like this, I am taking the example of 3 credits wherein you have mentioned 45 hours. Every hour has been given the content, every hour has been given the outcome, and every hour content is referred to the textbook, reference book, then the video, research paper, and the website of the industry. Now see that why did we prepare all this? Now here you need to see that a student is aware of the variety of resource materials which are required to study this particular subject of 3 credits. Now the student who is undergoing that subject, and like this the other subjects, say for example there are 5 subjects in a semester, then you have prepared this outcome based teaching plan for all 5 subjects and uploaded on the website of the institution, or you have given that teaching plan in the form of PDF files to the WhatsApp group of the students or through the email of the students. Now at this juncture, a student is aware of the resource materials which are required for all the subjects of that particular semester. Now what we need to do? Here we need to understand that the course, the complete outcome-based teaching plan, when is available to the student, then whether we need a teacher. Of course not, because the student will have the study at his own, at his residence, and then he will, if at all he comes across any problem, he will come to the college, because otherwise also he is coming to the college. So next week, first Monday, you can discuss with the students on the problems, conceptual problems which he has faced from the resource material which you have given. Say for example, in a week you have taught the student 3 hours out of this outcome-based teaching plan. Then next week, first Monday, in the first class, whatever you have in the following week, you discuss with the students the conceptual problems which he has faced. Why do we do all this? What is the aim behind preparing the outcome-based teaching plan? My participants who are sitting here, that they must be aware that there is a terminology, outcome-based education. And the outcome-based education has one very important phenomena, which is known as Bloom's taxonomy. So Benjamin Bloom's of United States of America in 1956 has developed a philosophy which is known as Bloom's taxonomy. And Bloom's taxonomy has 3 domains of learning. These 3 domains of learning are the cognitive domain of learning, affective domain of learning, and psychomotor domain of learning. I'm not going into the detail. Let us talk about the first domain of learning, that is cognitive domain of learning. Cognitive domain of learning has, cognitive means what? Something which is related to the thought process of the student, thinking ability of the student, something which is related to the gray matter of the body, okay, something which is related to the intelligence. So this cognitive domain of learning has 6 levels, starting from the lowermost level: remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So create is the highest level of cognitive domain of learning, and remember is the lowest level of the cognitive domain of learning. Out of these 6 levels, first 3 levels, that is from the bottom, the first 3 levels, that is remember, understand, and apply, are known as lower levels of cognitive domain of learning, and above 3 levels, which is analyze, evaluate, and create, are upper levels of cognitive domain of learning. Basically, the students who are coming to us are coming with the intention, and the teachers who are imparting the instructions have to impart the instructions with the intention that when the student passes out from the course of 3 years, or in case of sciences, arts, commerce, and sciences, and 4 years in case of the professional courses like engineering and pharmacy, then that student should get inculcated the upper 3 levels of domains of learning. That is the analyze, evaluate, and create. With that intention, the entire education system is running. But unfortunately, if you see the question paper setting, then you will find that most of the questions are based on remember, understand. And there are very few questions which are given on the apply. It means that we, the teachers, who are also the paper setters and evaluators, we set the question papers in such a fashion that the students are able to learn only lower 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning. Whereas the intention of the education system was to inculcate amongst them the upper 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning. And therefore, you must have heard that there are a lot of surveys, including the survey of FICCI, survey of NESCOM, survey of Government of India, survey of AISH, which says that the employability of the student, I mean to say the ability to get employment, is very less. In case of engineering, I have seen that 1 out of 4 students are only eligible to get employment. Probably, in my opinion, that the reason lies here, that what we are intended, what task was assigned to the instructors, I mean teachers, is to get inculcated the upper 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning, where we are inculcating amongst them lower 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning. Like we ask, write short notes on following. What is the definition? How do you define Ohm's law? How do you define, say, modulus of elasticity? So all these questions, when we give, these questions only address to the remember and understand level of learning, even not the apply level. Please write a situation wherein Ohm's law is applied. Okay, in that case, we are also touching to the 3rd level of cognitive domain of learning, that is apply. Therefore, our entire time of teaching a subject of 3 credits by way of 45 hours goes into inculcating only lower 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning, which is really an unfortunate part. And the tasks which a student is responsible for solving to get inculcated higher 3 domains of cognitive domain of learning, we give them to do at home. For example, assignments, surveys, mini projects, major projects, dissertation. Okay, all these things you are giving them to solve at home. And these three things, these are the things which you give them to solve at home, are basically inculcating amongst them the upper three levels of cognitive domain of learning. Okay, this is what is the mismatch going on. And in order to avoid this mismatch, this outcome-based teaching plan is prepared. Outcome-based teaching plan gives the student the complete resource materials in order to study the curriculum. Okay, so he studies the curriculum by way of outcome-based teaching plan, and this outcome-based teaching plan helps him to carry out everything at home. Therefore, and why do we not do this? हम लोग ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर पाते हैं? Because the pattern of the education is that a student has to solve the question paper in 3 hours in the university based examination, and maybe a question paper of the internal evaluation, that is the sessional paper, or some internal performance in the experiment that is being carried out in a limited time examination. Okay, the sessional paper, you must be giving a sessional paper of 2 hours. You must be asking a student to go ahead with the internal practical for 2 hours, and the university examination is taking place for 3 hours. University external practical examination is maybe taking place for 1 hour or 3 hours. Maybe a student gets only 10 minutes to 15 minutes to perform the practical and give the viva. Okay, so this is a limited time examination, whereas the assignments, mini project, major project, and the other performance-based activities, basically all these activities which have to inculcate amongst the students the higher 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning, are performance-based activities, or we can say in a simpler term, activity-based teaching. Okay, that may be a collaborative learning, that may be peer learning, that may be problem-based learning. So this is time independent activity. You cannot limit this activity into the fixed domain of time, and that's why probably you give him the assignment, you give him 5 questions in the assignment and ask him to solve at home, and you and me know that the students solve that. 1 or 2 students solve it and other students copy it. Similarly, you must have seen the observation table and the methodology of the complete aims, objectives, and methodology, drawing the sketch of the instrument and then filling the observations in the table of an experiment. They also sometimes are copied by the student. Okay, so instead doing this, what I am asking you, that though there is a limited time and time independent examination, let us flip this. Flip means interchange. Whatever you were teaching in the classroom, you shift that to the home, and whatever you were giving the student to solve at home, shift that into the classroom. The moment you do it, and then the internal examinations which you take, those internal examinations should be taken time independent. Now let us try to understand that when we flip, that's why we call this as flipped learning. Whatever I teach in the classroom, I give the students to learn that at home, because I have given him the complete resource material, and I'm giving them one more opportunity, that after teaching them, after imparting the instructions for 3 hours in a week for a 3 credit course, next week when they come to the class, there they will definitely have certain conceptual issues in order to understand whatever you taught in 3 hours in the previous week. Those conceptual problems you can address in the following week, maybe on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, whenever you have your next class. So this particular aspect is solved, means they are undergoing the curriculum with reference to the resource materials which you have provided. Their problems their conceptual issues are being taken care of in the class which you are taking. Now the entire work which you are giving to him in terms of the assignments, mini project, major project, or some other activities like surveys, like writing the report on the industrial visit, these things you should carry out in the classroom. Whenever you carry out these things in the classroom, students will sit there in a class, and the teacher will roam around. Like you do in the tutorial class of mathematics, you give some problem to the student solves those problems there, and then you are around to solve their conceptual issues which they come across. Similarly, here, if I say, for example, design and develop a gearbox. Designing and developing a gearbox cannot be done in a fixed time examination of 3 hours. That requires more than 3 hours. Another example I can give, you must, some of you must have exposure to the examination of the architecture course. Their examination goes for almost 9 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours to 12 hours. Today they solve the paper for 3 hours. Then the paper is kept there itself, paper and answer sheet. They go home and next day they again come to solve that paper for 6 hours. Why do they do like that? You know that the pattern of the architectural examination is such that where they have to prepare the drawing sheet of variety of assignments, and that is not a limited time examination. That is the examination which is time independent. 6 hours examination, 9 hours examination, 12 hours examination, because everything which they are preparing on the drawing sheet, everything which they are writing in the answer sheet is performance based. They are realizing how a 2-bedroom apartment will be on the drawing sheet. They are realizing how a swimming pool, flyover, or the bridges, or the tunnels, or the roads on the drawing sheet. So ultimately what it is, they are representing what they are doing on the drawing sheet is something which is performance based, which can actually be realized if put into the reality for the construction of all these things. That is the exact example wherein the students of architecture have the perfect imagination power. The student of architecture gets inculcated the higher 3 levels of domain of learning. That is what exactly I am expecting from the teachers, that in this case of the flipped learning, what they have to do is that they have to carry out everything which they are giving to the students, which is performance based in the classroom. And the moment you start teaching that into the classroom, the moment, not teaching exactly, the teacher is acting as a facilitator, is acting as an advisor, is acting as a supervisor there in the class. So wherever in solving performance based problems, maybe mini project, major project, the problem which actually require the higher 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning, the teacher is helping them wherever he comes across a problem. Basically, this is a student-centric examination. Or this complete national education policy is the first policy of the independent India launched by the Honorable Prime Minister, which is student-centric. Here, whatever student wants, student realizes to study, that is what we have to offer him. We have to bring a lot of flexibility, quality, accountability into the new role of a teacher as a facilitator. So we are not the typified teacher who comes to the class and starts writing on the board and students start copying it. There is normally no interaction amongst the student. There is no participative type of teaching. The students having queries cannot ask, maybe by the fear of the teacher, or maybe because of some internal marks which are there with the teacher, or maybe that if I ask to the teacher will get disappointed. Like this, those who are sitting here as teachers, they will definitely agree to me that sometimes it is a problem asking the questions in the class, and especially the questions which the teacher is not able to answer. There the teacher's position becomes very awkward, and that awkward situation which the teacher faces then converts into the sometimes converts into the victimization of the students. And then a student who was curious right in the class, right in his budding days, right in the days where his mind has to develop, is being kept shut, that you should not ask any question, and his curiosity gets diminished, and once it becomes zero and the student becomes as if an excellent listener. He does not respond to what a teacher is teaching. Therefore, it has become very, very essential. It has become very, very essential that in the new education policy, a role of the teacher is facilitator. You have to facilitate the student, you have to guide the student, you have to supervise the student, what a student is doing. The task is definitely given by the teacher. Say, for example, you have given a problem. Okay, I'm not talking about end of chapter problem of a book, end of the chapter problem of a book. I am talking about a problem wherein the performance is required, wherein the student's intellect is required, wherein the student's gray matter is to be shaken, जहां पे उसके दिमाग की जरूरत पड़ती है, थॉट प्रोसेस की जरूरत पड़ती है, थिंकिंग एबिलिटी की जरूरत पड़ती है. Such problems if you give to the student, then and you may have this is known as the problem based learning, and then you can have 4 or 5 students sitting together, that is known as the peer group or collaborative learning, peer group learning or collaborative learning, where 4 or 5 students are sitting there, they are attempting a problem which requires performance, which is not an end of chapter problem. The answer of that problem is even not known to the students. Sometimes the answer is not important, whereas the process or the attitude to approach the problem is important. These all things which are related to analyze, evaluate, and create higher 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning, you are going to teach them in the class. And this way you will find that the students beautifully come up with those 3 cognitive domain. I don't claim that the topmost level, creative level also will get developed among the student, but at least if we teachers can if we teachers are able to inculcate the 4th and 5th level, that is analyze and evaluate level amongst the students, then believe me, then their intellect level will reach to the higher level. And then whenever a placement agency comes or whenever a company comes to interview the students, in that case, you will find that the students to whom you have offered the flipped learning are performing better in the placement interviews. Or the BSc student, BCom student, BA student, if is applying for some scholarship and giving some examination to crack that scholarship, maybe the state government scholarship scheme or the central government scholarship scheme, or he is going for some entrance examination to seek the admission into the excellent postgraduate courses, into the institutions of premier institutions of higher learning, then these qualities which have been inculcated amongst the students will be helping him or her to excel into those examinations. I did this experiment when I was director of an engineering college, autonomous college. There I had an opportunity to do it, and then I found that that particular batch to whom I introduced this outcome-based teaching plan in the 3rd year and 4th year of engineering, when the placement agencies came, their placement means such students have got 17% better placement compared to last year. So this is what is the charisma of this outcome-based teaching plan. And then I copyrighted this outcome-based teaching plan, wherein the students will be getting enormous benefit of developing the higher cognitive domain of learning. That is what is my submission to all of you, those who are sitting here, that and I will request to honorable principal of the institution that you please try at least implementing this into one of the classes right from 1st year to final year. And then you will find that there are a lot of changes amongst the student in terms of their intellect level, in terms of their thought process. You will find them better. And if all the students who will appear for some competitive examination, then you will find the students of this class will definitely fare better. And ultimately, we the teachers together are fulfilling the aims and objectives of the national education policy. On this, if somebody has some question on this. Anybody has some question? Okay. Okay. Then why this is important? See, one more thing you must have seen, that the engagement of the student in the class has become very difficult task for the principal and the teachers. Very less number of students are coming to the class. I have seen for performing the practicals, at least the science students are coming to the college, but then the students of other faculty do not come to the class for the variety of reasons. Maybe they may not have the experimental performance or performance-based activities there in the college, or they have adopted some tuition classes outside, or they feel that the third reason is very important, because whatever you are teaching to the student and what a student learns, if there is a gap, then there are two things which are very, very important, which is the reason for not having the students in the class. The first reason is that whatever outcome you have set for your learning experience, for the learning experience which you are imparting, is ambitious. You have set some outcome like that, which is normally is not possible to attain by a student of that particular class. And the second reason is that you are not properly imparting the instruction to the student by going to their level. And in majority of the cases, I being an administrator, I found that the second reason is, in majority of the cases, is more valid, that I as a teacher am not able to impart the instructions to the student, wherein a student should find something new, something innovative, something creative, or something with the base of analysis and evaluation. So whatever, say for example, I'm drawing a sketch on the board, and then immediately a student sitting and on the last bench goes to the internet and just types whatever you have written on the blackboard, and then he finds that a beautiful sketch comes onto the screen of his mobile compared to what you have drawn. You are consuming a lot of time in drawing it, and then whatever you are drawing is of not that quality which is required by the student. Sometimes is even not visible to the last bench student. So he feels that when I'm not able to learn anything out of what the teacher is imparting the instruction of, then why should I sit in the class? And this engagement of the student has become the biggest problem of the 21st century. I had been to one of the engineering colleges as a representative of the university during the National Assessment and Accreditation Council visit. I found there that there was a peculiar remark of the NAAC committee that in majority of the classes, the attendance of the students was 50% or less than 50%. Even if it happens into the engineering colleges, even if it happens to the BSc and MSc courses, then we should find out as to what is the reason why the students are not sitting in the class. That is very important for us to find it out. And the moment we will try to find out this, that students do not find anything new in what you are teaching, anything wherein they gain knowledge, they gain skills of what you are teaching. When they do not find anything, then they will come to your class only for completing the 75% attendance. My son was in an engineering college, and then he was only looking for the Papa, there is only one lecture left. If I complete that lecture, my attendance will be 75% and I will not go to the college. I asked him as to why you are doing like this, why don't you sit in the class? And then what he narrated to me is exactly what I am narrating to you, that for engaging the student in the class, say for example, if you are the participants who are attending this particular lecture of mine, why they should sit here? Initially, they will try to judge for the 5 minutes that the person who is delivering the lecture, whether is something which is new, whether it is something which will be useful to me or my student, or for my personal growth. So after 5 minutes delivery, he will judge it, and then he will find that, oh, this lecture is a repetitive lecture and this I have read at many places. And then he will just Google and find out that this lecture is already available at variety of places. Then at leisure at his home, he will read all these things, what the expert is delivering. And therefore, the engagement of the participant, which was initially, say, for example, 30, will reduce down to, say, for example, 24 and then 20. And because it is online, sometimes he will be present online. The screen will show that he is online present, but basically he is not present. Meaning thereby that I, as an instructor, I as an expert delivering the lecture is not capable to engage the participants in this particular workshop. And that is the reason as to why we are also not able to engage the students in the class. For engaging the students, every time you have to give something new. Okay, and let a student choose it, that which class he is. So you must have seen many times that, and I at least have seen that when somebody goes to the class in the first hour, and for the second hour a teacher is already available there, that as soon as the first hour teacher will come out, I will enter into the class. But then as soon as the first hour teacher comes out, along with him the 50% class, 50% of the students also come out, and in the second hour class, for that teacher the number of student strength has been reduced to 50%. Now that teacher has to think that why in the first class there was attendance of 50 students, and why in my class only the 25 students are there. So we have to introspect ourselves. We have to retrospect ourselves and find out that as to why I am not able to engage the student, because this is the biggest problem of this era, internet era or digital era, wherein everything is available to the student at the click of their finger. Okay, so therefore, I have one more suggestion to make. And that suggestion is that University Grants Commission has given the instructions to all the colleges, especially those who are autonomous, they can immediately do it, that 40% of the courses in a semester can be taught as online courses from the platform like SWAYAM NPTEL. Why I'm telling NPTEL? Actually, SWAYAM is a bigger umbrella. Under that, there are 9 coordinators, out of which the one coordinator is NPTEL, another coordinator is UGC, AICTE, then NCERT, then NITTR. Like this, there are 9 coordinators, and these 9 coordinators, every coordinator is a consortium of few institutes, premier institutes of higher learning, like NPTEL, National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. This is a consortium of 7 IITs, 5 old IITs and 2 new IITs, that is IIT Guwahati and IIT Roorkee, along with the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So this consortium, which is one of the coordinators of the SWAYAM, has prepared more than 1500 online courses with the subject matter expert as the IIT professor, IIT teacher. Okay, so all these IIT teachers are imparting the instructions through these online courses provided, reaching to us by NPTEL through SWAYAM. Okay, so when I treat this as opportunity, because I was not able to crack the entrance examination to enter into the IITs. Now I am getting an opportunity to learn from IIT professors, subject matter expert. So I choose the subject of my domain. I join that subject, register and enroll for the examination, and then I learn something from the IIT professors. And while learning it, their methodology of teaching, which is addressing the higher 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning. When I learn this from the IIT professor, my teaching skill gets modified, gets improved, and that teaching skill which is getting improved is good enough to engage the students in the class. Therefore, I request the participants and the learned principal of this college to start this practice of online courses, giving online courses to teachers first, and then asking the students also to join these online courses, wherein a teacher can become the mentor and the students will be the mentee. So mentor also gets the certificate, mentee also gets the certificate, and the certificate which you get, what is the examination pattern of these online courses? That there is a 100-mark examination, out of which 25 marks are given to the assignments which are taken online. Evaluation also takes place online, and 75 marks examination is taken care of by the TCS IN in the proctored fashion. Means if a student is appearing in the examination, has taken up one course of NPTEL from RV, this college, then that student will learn the complete course online, will give the assignment online, will get the marks online for the assignments, and if he feels that he should appear for the proctored examination also in order to get the certificate, then he has to pay a fees of ₹1,000 for the general category students, and for reserved category student the fee is 500. Then he get an admit card and goes to the center. RV student has to come to Nagpur and appear at the center of the TCS IN, to which we say the proctored examination. There also he has to give the online examination. Whatever examination he gives, based on that he scores the mark out of 75. He has already scored the marks of out of 25. All these marks together should be 40, then student is declared as pass. And he gets a certificate from Indian Institute of Technology, where from that subject matter expert belongs to. Say, for example, I have taken up a course of IIT Kharagpur, then I will get a certificate from signed by the IIT Kharagpur subject matter expert, and the title of that certificate is NPTEL. And these courses, if teachers are doing, then the requirement of completing the refresher courses is also for the career advancement scheme promotion is also getting fulfilled. It's not that you do this course and this course is going waste. This course never goes waste. It improves your teaching learning skills. It improves your teaching from the point of view of higher 3 levels of cognitive domain of learning. It also helps you in fulfilling the requirement of career advancement scheme promotion, wherein some refresher courses or some short-term training programs or some quality improvement programs are also given the weightage. So the request, my request is that the honorable principal of this college and the faculty members should lead by the example. They should first take up some of the examinations of SWAYAM, and then they should motivate the students to take up the examination of SWAYAM. Believe me that like flipped learning will help the student to get placement. Similarly, if a student has achieved, has obtained 3 certificates from IIT by way of SWAYAM and PTEL, then in that case, if he appears for the examination and shows these 3 certificates, then he is different from the queue appearing for that placement interview. If there are 100 students, then only 1 or 2 or 3 students are there who have with them the certification from the IIT. Then naturally that placement agency, those interviewers will give him an additional time, and additional time means the increased probability of getting placed. And therefore, with these 2 requests, the first request was to adopt the flipped learning, and second request is to see that the students and teachers, first the teachers should be motivated. And my humble suggestion to the honorable principal is that with the permission of the management, they can declare some incentive scheme that if a teacher clears the examination of SWAYAM with elite category means 60% or more marks, then his 50% of the fees which he has paid will be refunded. If he gets the silver medal, which is from 75% to 89%, then he will be given the full refund of the fees. And one who gets the gold medal, which is 90% and above, will be given an additional amount, additional 50% amount. If the fees is 1,000, then he will be refunded 1,500. And if somebody becomes the national topper, you give him maybe a benefit of an incentive of 3,000 rupees. And this incentive policy I implemented into my earlier college where I was director, and I got the tremendous response. You will not believe that in the very next year, 600 students appeared for this online NPTEL examinations, and many of them could bring elite category certificate, silver category certificate, and the gold category certificates. And then we have conducted one graduation ceremony in which we have called the VNIT professor, and there we have distributed all these certificates along with the incentives to the students, and a complete ecosystem. Once the 600 students appear, then the number will increase. And then you can increase the bar of your incentive. थोड़ा सा उसको और difficult कर सकते हैं आप incentive को. And one who is the single point of contact, to which we say the coordinator of NPTEL, he is being given the opportunity to go to IIT Mumbai, and there he gets the certificate of doing the wonderful job of making an ecosystem into the campus for online learning. Because very soon a digital university is going to be set up by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, in the public-private partnership, and a lot of courses will be offered through this digital university in online mode. Students are not required to go to the classroom teaching anywhere. Majority of the courses will be offered online. I will give you an example of the IIT Madras. The IIT Madras, almost 2 years back, probably in 2019-20, they 2021, they started an online course, BSc in data science and BSc in programming. They did not advertise anything. They have only floated this onto their website. And they had an entrance examination. Even the preparation of that entrance examination was to be done online. They gave complete course material online, and there was a subject matter expert from IIT who used to teach these courses online to the students. So there were 26,000 students throughout the country registered for this BSc Data Science and BSc Programming course. And these 26,000 students appeared in the entrance examination, which was completely online. Students were not required to even move out a single step from their residence. And out of 26,000 students, 20,000 students cleared that entrance examination. Okay, and out of those 20,000 students, 16,000 students took admission into BSc Data Science and BSc Programming course. Now you just see that without any advertisement, and these students who will be passing this BSc Data Science and BSc Programming course have the placement guarantee, and they will be called as IIT alumni. So students who did not get an opportunity, okay, as I told in case of teachers, students who did not get an opportunity to crack JEE and enter into the campus of the IIT, this way of doing the BSc Data Science or BSc Programming online course have entered to the IIT, and then therefrom they are doing now the course. The first batch is now going to pass out in 2023. 2021, probably 22, 23, the batch must have been passed out or will be passing with the full placement. The fee, of course, is a little higher. That is around probably 3.5 to 4 lakhs is the fee. But then if I have the guarantee of getting the job, and that too, I am doing the course in the emerging areas where a lot of employment opportunities are available. And that too, I am doing it from the topmost engineering institutions of the country, that is IIT Madras, and I will be called as alumni. Who will not do it? Now, where from these 16,000 students have gone? These 16,000 students have gone from the entire country. Means some of the students must have taken admission from Maharashtra. Some of the students must also have taken admission from Nagpur. So ultimately, these students who are going for the online degree course are going from yours and mine pocket, who otherwise would have taken the admission into our colleges. Now this one IIT has done. There are 23 IITs, more than 35 NITs, triple ITs, IISERs. If all these institutions will start conducting the online degree courses, you just think what will happen to the traditional colleges which are there in the country. 40,000 colleges are there and 1,000 universities are there in the country. What will happen to these? Therefore, I request to the administration of this college, the participants, that we also have to think revolutionary in order to make paradigm shift and to bring the online ecosystem into the campus in order to survive. Survival is always for the fittest. Who is fit? One who changes with reference to the time, one who changes with reference to technology. And education has come up now with a lot of technology, online platforms, digital education, and very soon the university will also come up, and the universities which are having more than A grade into the NAC are given permission to start the online courses. The colleges which have top 100 NIRF ranking institutions, they will also be they are also allowed to start the online degree courses. Okay, so the courses like Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Commerce, PGDBM, MBA, Travel and Tourism, all these courses can be started online. When an IIT can start BSc Data Science and BSc Programming course online without taking any single class in person, then why can't we start these courses in an online mode? And whatever is the requirement for this, if a college moves forward to achieve those requirements, to fulfill those requirements, then definitely one day this college also will be having their own degree course launched online. With this, I extend my sincere thanks to the management, administration of this institution who has considered me eligible to deliver a lecture in this program. and I hope that I must have done justice with the expectations of what the participants had in their mind or what the organizers had in their mind. I will request the organizers, if they are taking feedback, please communicate the feedback to me, that whatever outcome I have mentioned in my second slide, whether those outcomes are achieved or not. If they are not achieved, I promise the participants and the administrators that whenever I deliver this lecture next, the feedback given to you will definitely be incorporated, and I'll see to it next time there will be minimum gap between what I'm intending to achieve and what I achieve at the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Definitely, we will convey the feedback of this webinar to you. Thank you once again. We feel fortunate to have you as resource person for the first technical session. Your fascinating and insightful presentation on the topic was really praiseworthy. Your speech brought new insights from current research. Your talks motivated our staff to stick with their work. Your speech will definitely help us kindle a renewed enthusiasm for our profession. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much once again. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Dhanavate sir to deliver his speech and enlighten us. Dr. Dhanavate.
सर माझा आवाज येतो?
येत आहे सर.
हो.
ओके ओके ओके. प्राचार्य वेळुळकर सर, कला विज्ञान आणि कॉमर्स महाविद्यालयाचे आरवी, तसेच आजच्या या हॅलो, आवाज येतोय माझा?
हा येत आहे ना सर, येत आहे ना.
कोटीचे सर्व प्राचार्य, उपस्थित सर्व प्राध्यापक वृंद, आजच्या या पहिल्या सेशनचे प्रमुख वक्ते महेश्वरी सर, डीन सायन्स अँड टेक्नॉलॉजी, RTM नागपूर युनिव्हर्सिटी नागपूर. न्यू एज्युकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 या संदर्भात विज्ञान आणि तंत्रज्ञान याच्यामध्ये नवीन एज्युकेशन पॉलिसीमध्ये असणाऱ्या संधी आणि आव्हाने याबाबत आपण आता महेश्वरी सरांचं अत्यंत विस्तृत आणि अभ्यासपूर्ण अशा प्रकारचं भाषण आपण इथे ऐकलं. तर या माध्यमातून आपल्या असं लक्षात येईल की अनेक प्रकारचे अपॉर्च्युनिटीज या नवीन एज्युकेशन पॉलिसीने आपल्याला दिलेल्या आहेत, पण ते आपल्याला कशा घेता येईल याचं विस्तृत वर्णन सरांनी केलेलं आहे. जवळपास 34 वर्षानंतर नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरण आपल्या देशामध्ये लागू झालं. डॉक्टर कस्तुरी रंजन यांच्या अध्यक्षतेखाली जी कमिटी निर्माण झाली होती त्या कमिटीने दिलं आणि अत्यंत प्रभावीपणे अशा प्रकारचं शिक्षण या भारतामध्ये सगळ्या विद्यार्थ्यांना मिळालं पाहिजे. मग ते प्राथमिक शिक्षणापासून असो तर उच्च शिक्षणापर्यंत त्यामध्ये शाळा आहे आणि उच्च शिक्षण या सगळ्याचा विस्तार चांगल्या पद्धतीने झाला पाहिजे या दृष्टीने सगळी मांडणी या ठिकाणी करण्यात आलेली आहे. तर मी आता जास्त वेळ घेणार नाही. सरांनी बरंच विस्तृत याच्यामध्ये सांगितलेलं आहे. याचे आउटकम आपल्याला काय येणार आहे हे सांगितलेलं आहे आणि नवीन नवीन प्रकारची संधी या ठिकाणी आउटकम्स आपल्याला मिळतात आहेत. ऑनलाईन कोर्सेस IIT सारख्या संस्थांमधून आपल्याला घर बसल्या करता येतात. त्याचा फायदा आपल्या विद्यार्थ्यांनी, आपल्या प्राध्यापकांनी हा घेतला पाहिजे. तसंच क्रेडिट सिस्टीम आहे. नंतर नवीन कोर्सेस आपण ज्यामध्ये आपण आतापर्यंत घेऊ शकत नव्हतो तशा प्रकारचे क्रेडिट नवीन कोर्सेस घेऊन आपण त्यामध्ये शिक्षण घेऊ शकतो. आणि विशेष म्हणजे नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये मातृभाषेमध्ये शिक्षण देण्यावरती जास्त भर देण्यात आलेला आहे. त्यामुळे प्रभावी अशा प्रकारची आपली भाषा वापरून उच्च शिक्षण आपल्याला घेता येऊ शकतं, हा याचा एक फायदा आहे. तंत्र शिक्षण आणि विज्ञानाच्या माध्यमातून आपण आतापर्यंत जर पाहिलं असेल तर आपल्याला मातृभाषेमध्ये शिक्षण घेता येत नव्हतं, परंतु आज आपण सगळे सिलेबस आपल्या मातृभाषेमध्ये आपण करतो आहोत आणि त्या माध्यमातून आपल्याला शिक्षण घेता येईल. एक मोठी संधी या सगळ्या विद्यार्थ्यांसाठी आहे. तरी पण याची जी आव्हानं जी आहेत ते आव्हाने सुद्धा भरपूर आहेत. आपण जर पाहिलं की आपण 47 पासून तर आतापर्यंत जवळपास 75 वर्षात आपण आपल्या देशामध्ये आपल्याला शिक्षण मिळालं नाही का, तर याच्यामध्ये शिक्षण मिळालं. याच्यामध्ये 70 वर्षामध्ये आपण खूप काही शिक्षण घेतलं, विद्यार्थ्यांना देऊ शकलो, गावागावात शाळा पोहोचल्या, उच्च शिक्षण सुद्धा आता विस्तार आपण केला. परंतु अनेक वंचित लोक जे आहेत त्याच्यापासून दूरच राहिले, त्यांना शिक्षण मिळू शकलं नाही. आणि जे शिक्षण घेतलं ते शिक्षण रोजगारभिमुख अशा प्रकारचं नव्हतं. त्यामुळे रोजगाराची संधी या क्षेत्रातून फार कमी लोकांना मिळत होती आणि म्हणून रोजगारभिमुख अशा प्रकारचं शिक्षण धोरण या ठिकाणी अंमलात आणलेलं आहे. मनमोहन सिंग ज्यावेळेस प्राईम मिनिस्टर त्यावेळेस त्यांनी सांगितलं की 1 कोटी लोक आपण याच्यामध्ये आणू बा, विद्यार्थी याच्यामध्ये शाळेमध्ये आणू. आज आपण 2020च्या शैक्षणिक धोरणात 2 कोटीचा आकडा घेतला, पण 1 कोटी आले का याचा आपण विचार केलेला नाही. मग आपण 2 कोटीचा आकडा आणला. म्हणजे अशा प्रकारे आपण नुसतं धोरण ठरवून चालणार नाही, तर ते धोरण अंमलात कसं आणता येईल याच्यावरती जास्त विशेष लक्ष दिलं पाहिजे. मला असं वाटतं की आजच्या उच्च शिक्षणामध्ये सुद्धा जवळपास सगळ्या क्षेत्रातले लोक याच्यामध्ये येतात, परंतु देशामध्ये जवळपास 15 कोटी जे लोक आहेत ते SC ST भटके विमुक्त अशा जातीचे आहेत. त्यांना खरंच या उच्च शिक्षणाचा फायदा घेता येईल का नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणात, याच्यावर सुद्धा विचार होण्याची गरज आहे. हे उच्च शिक्षण हे फक्त श्रीमंत लोकांसाठीच राहील का? मग जे लोक गरीब आहेत, ज्यांचं उत्पन्न कमी आहे, त्यांना मिळणार नाही का? याच्यावरती आपल्याला काही प्रकाश टाकता आला नाही. म्हणजे आपल्याला सांगता येणार नाही अजूनही की काय होईल त्याचं. कारण की दिवसेंदिवस आपण पाहिलं की सरकारने याच्यातून आपला हात काढून घेतलेला आहे आणि सगळं आपण खाजगी क्षेत्रामध्ये वळलेलो आहोत. आणि त्या खाजगी क्षेत्रामध्ये आपण जात असताना भरमसाठ फीज झालेले आहेत. मोठ्या प्रमाणात फी आपल्याला द्यावं लागते. मग ती KG पासून असो तर इकडे PG पर्यंत आणि उच्च शिक्षणामध्ये तंत्र शिक्षण, विज्ञान शिक्षण जर असेल तर यामध्ये जास्त फी आहे. तर मग आपल्या भारतातील लोकांची ती ऐपत आहे का? विदेशातले अनेक विद्यापीठ आपल्या देशामध्ये आता नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणाच्या नुसार नवीन कोर्सेस सुरू करतात. तर त्या ठिकाणी आपण सस्टेन करू शकू का? आपले सर्वसामान्य लोक त्यात जाऊ शकतील का? याच्यावर सुद्धा विचार होण्याची गरज आहे. हे सुद्धा एक मोठं आव्हान आपल्या समोर आहे. पण तरी आपण एकंदरीत पॉझिटिव्हली असा विचार जर केला तर नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये निश्चितच चांगला फायदा आपल्या देशातील विद्यार्थ्यांना होईल. चांगल्या प्रकारचं धोरण दिल्यामुळं अनेक लोकांना याचा फायदा निश्चित घेता येईल आणि रोजगार विमुख असल्यामुळं रोजगाराची संधी जास्त उपलब्ध होईल, देशाचा आर्थिक विकास होईल असं मला या ठिकाणी वाटते. या ठिकाणी आपण मला संधी दिली आणि माझे 2 शब्द ऐकून घेतले याबद्दल मी संयोजकाचा आभारी आहे. या ठिकाणी मी थांबतो. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your stimulating and informative words. The concern you showed for the poor students is really thought-provoking. Thank you once again, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Anup Gumle, Department of English, Art, Commerce, Science, College, RV, to pose the vote of thanks for the first technical session. Dr. Gumle.
Thank you, Dr. Khadse, sir. Good morning to one and all present over here on this virtual platform. Honorable Resource Person Dr. P.B. Maheshwari, sir. He is the Dean of Science and Technology of Rashtrasant Tukadoji Maharaj, Nagpur Vidyapith. Then Dr. Sanjay Dhanvate. He is the Principal of Narayan Rao Kale Smriti College, Karanja Ghadge. He is the chairperson of this program and all the participants. I, Dr. Anup Gumle, propose a vote of thanks for this first technical session. It's an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank all the dignitaries. On behalf of the Department of History of Arts, Commerce and Science College and Koti, I extend a warm welcome to the participants of this webinar. I extend my gratitude to Honorable Dr. P.B. Maheshwari, sir, who was the resource person of this technical session. He is very busy as the Dean of Science and Technology of RTMNU University. He has expressed his valuable and noteworthy views on the challenges and opportunities in the field of science and technology. He knows the ground reality. He is aware of the villagers, the poor students, those who are not having all the facilities. But he is positive. His positive perspective and vision has enlightened all of us. Mr. Maheshwari has expressed his thoughts, ideas, and new concepts. Sir, you have graced this event by taking out time from your very busy schedule. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words of knowledge. A special thanks to Dr. Sanjay Dhanvate, Principal of Narayan Rao Kale Smriti College, Karanja Ghadge, for accepting our invitation. He has obliged us by chairing the session of this webinar. I am grateful to you, sir, for being with us and for sharing your passing comment as a chairperson. Dr. D.M. Chauhan, Head, Department of History of Arts and Arts, Commerce and Science College has organized this novel webinar on new education policy. Thank you for his innovative organization. Dr. Vijay Khadse did the comparing of this technical session. I am also thankful to him. I am also thankful to Dr. Neeraj for lively and excellent introduction of this technical session. Professor Shailesh Khandare of Computer Science Department is always ready to cooperate while organizing such virtual programs, such online webinars. Along with him, Head of the Department of Computer Science, Dr. Amar Sote and Mr. Sanjay Dhabale, both of them, they are also very cooperative and helpful to us. I extend my gratitude to all of you to make it a grand success. Then, thank you for all the 13 principals. COTI, that is the cluster of 13 institutions, 13 principals and their colleagues, their teachers, they are with us while organizing. They participate in these programs. I am also thankful to all the 13 principals and their colleagues. Then those who have helped us for organizing this webinar, I am also thankful to all the participants, all the members and the staff of Arts, Commerce and Science College. Thank you very much for being with us. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Bumre sir, for proposing nicely the vote of thanks for the first technical session. Now, with the permission of the organizers, I declare that the first technical session of the state webinar on new education policy challenges and opportunities is over. Now, we will move towards the second technical session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I would like to proceed in the second technical session. The resource person for second technical session is Dr. Shyam Purity, Associate Dean and Head of the Department of History, Rashtrapati Tukaji Maharaj Nagpur University, Nagpur, and the chairperson of this second technical session is Dr. Nitin Matankar, Principal, Vasundhara Polurkar, Art College, Rona. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Bumre sir, Department of English, Arts, Commerce, Science College, to give the introduction of resource person and the chairperson of this second technical session. Dr. Bumre.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to introduce a gentleman and a friend of all the teachers of university and colleges, Mr. Dr. Shyam Purity. He is the professor in history at the department. Hello, am I audible?
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So he has done his schooling from a rural area of Kochi, but he has shown laurels in all walks of life, especially in the field of social sciences. He has fluency in 6 different languages like English, Hindi, Marathi, Chhattisgarhi, Gondi, and Madia. He is working as a professor from September 2000 till date. So we are very much happy to have Mr. Shyam Purity with us. He has held various administrative positions at various places. He is also a foreign students advisor of Rashtrapati Tukaji Maharaj Nagpur University since 2015. He is also warden at Nelson Mandela International Hostel and University Boys Hostel. So he has administrative experience of 22 years. He also holds various academic positions like a chairman of the Board of Studies of History, chairman of Moderation Committee, chairman at and member of Accounts and Finance Committee, and along with these 10 different committees he is working on. His academic career is also very excellent. Total number of books written and edited by him, as a sole author, he has written 6 books, and he has edited 5 volumes. So total number of research papers and articles published is nearly 51, and he has attended more than 100 of conferences. So lectures delivered by him as a resource person accounts to 152. It is really a noteworthy thing for any teacher. So he was also a merit student at HSC examination. He is appointed exclusively to teach PG departments. He is also MPhil teacher and guide since 2009. He is also a PhD supervisor since 2012. 8 students have been awarded under his able guidance, and a few students have also submitted their PhD thesis. PhD registered students are 7. So he is an excellent gentleman, academician, and administrator. He has visited Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Thailand, and America for professional and academic visits. So we are having today an excellent gentleman and an academician who will deliver his speech on challenges and opportunities in the field of social sciences and humanities. He is having the first-hand knowledge, he knows the ground reality in the field of new education policy and how the students and the teachers, academicians and administrators of Rashtrasanta Tukaji Maharaj, Nagpur University, how they face the challenges and what are the opportunities. Again, I welcome you, sir, and now I hand over to Dr. Vijay Khadse.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for nice introduction of resource person, Dr. Shyam Kurti. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Shyam Kurti to enlighten us with his valuable views on the topic challenges and opportunities in the field of social sciences and humanities. Over to Dr. Shyam Kurti, sir.
हो मातन दादा unmute yourself.
करून घेता सर करून घ्या.
Hello, sir.
Unmute your mic, sir. Correct,
Hello.
sir. Correct, sir. Please unmute your mic. Dr. Shyam Kurti is not audible.
I would like to, sorry for intervention, sir. I would like to tell Dr. Bhumresh sir to introduce the chairperson of this program first.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Today, for the first technical session, we have with us, for the second technical session, we have with us Dr. Nitin Mathankar. He is the principal of late Vasantrao Koletkar Arts College, Rona, and he was also a PhD supervisor. He's also supervisor. He was the chairperson of the Board of Studies of English of Rashtrasanta Tukaji Maharaj, Nagpur University. He is going to chair the second technical session, and we are very much enlightened to have Dr. Nitin Mathankar with us. We shall be able to listen to his views on new education policies, especially he's also working in rural area as a principal since last 12 years, and he has a teaching experience of more than 25 years. He has worked excellently at Rona in his college. We shall be able to listen to his views as a chairperson of this technical session too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Gumbre sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Shyam Purity sir to present his views on the topic challenges and opportunities in the field of social sciences and humanities. Over to Dr. Shyam Purity.
अनम्यूट सर अनम्यूट सांगा अनम्यूट करा सर मला hello sir so there is a problem here
Over to Purity sir.
Purity sir there is a problem we could not hear you Purity sir something problem is there no sir still we cannot hear you
काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे ते फोन करून सांगा त्यांना.
okay सांगा hello sir फोन करा सर
सरांचा माईक अनम्यूट आहे ना? कोरेटे सरांचा माईक अनम्यूट आहे का?
yes sir there is a technical problem from their side
अच्छा.
mic is unmute sir
Purity sir, you are not audible. Now Purity sir is visible. His screen is visible.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I have joined the system. Let me leave from the first one.
Yes, you are audible sir now and visible.
Okay, can you?
yes sir problem झाला मला ऐकू
Hello. Am I audible now?
Yes, no, you are audible now, sir.
Okay, shall I proceed?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me to such a prestigious program. And I'm thankful to the principal of the college, Dr. Vedudkar sir, Arts and Commerce and Science College RV, for inviting me and believing upon me that I will give justice to the topic upon the new education policy challenges and opportunities. I'm equally thankful to the chairperson of this session, Dr. Mathankar sir, for joining me with this second session as the chairman for this session. Today that we are going to talk about the new education policy challenges and opportunities in front of the social sciences particularly. I am thankful to all the colleges, about the 13 colleges, I think, and whom you called COTI, COTI. So that's great that there are so many people who could hear me and who can listen to my ideas, my concepts, and my interventions upon the different kinds of the NEP kind of the guidelines, which have already been accelerated quite very well among us. And it has been already declared since 2-3 years back, and therefore that I know it very well, that most of us are well aware about the content of the NEP 2020, and therefore, and that's why that it will not be very difficult for all of us to understand the things. And another thing is that Dr. Maheshwari sir, that he has also explained you regarding certain kinds of the challenges in front of the teachers regarding the
delivery of the matter and the several things conducting the classes and the what kind of the challenges could be there and how that we can solve them all. So alternatives have been already given. But I most humbly request to all that we will discuss mostly upon the problems related with the humanities and the social sciences. Yes, it is indeed that we know that social sciences are equally important as the natural sciences. Because of that only that we know in the 21st era where that we are going to execute this, the NEP 2020, that is talking about the all the subjects, including the natural sciences and the social science equally. In the social sciences nowadays that we have converted it as a humanities kind of the things, but the thing is that it has always been in a dynamic mode. Like initially that arts faculty means that languages, Mathankar sir is well aware about that because he belongs to the languages stream. Thereafter, but that we know that social sciences, this kind of the system was there, and where that we had recently, that humanities kind of the terminology is used for all this, and collectively we call them sometimes social sciences, sometimes we call them humanities, but in humanities that we know that everything is included, like languages that we know that there are some human-centric kind of the subjects which have been included into humanities, and there are certain things which are related with the human lives, whom we call social sciences. So all these comprises, and they are collectively called as the humanities, likewise we could say. And therefore that languages, social sciences, or the humanities, they are facing different kinds of the challenges in the forthcoming NEP 2020 era. I just would like to focus upon certain things. Exactly, being a historian and being the student of the history, I know it very well that since the time immemorial that we were practicing the different kind of the knowledge system that was indigenous knowledge system, and therefore that we were known all over the world. Like that we were fortunate to have the universities like Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, and Vallabhi, and from there that that the knowledge system which was delivered to the world, and because of that most of the world was become happy. Or we could say that the Indian knowledge system has been spread up in the other part of the world because of such kind of the esteemed kind of the universities that once upon a time that India had. And therefore that we were also benefited out of the different kinds of the acharyas, or the sant, or the mahatmas, or the gurus, or we could say the munis, these kind of the terminologies which are not used nowadays, but once upon a time, such kind of the terminologies were well known for the indigenous knowledge system. And that was the result that we heard about the Charak, we heard about the Sushrut, we heard about the Aryabhat, Varahamihir, Bhaskaracharya. Not only that, one Brahmagupta, Chanakya, Chakrapani, Madhav, Panini, Patanjali, Nagarjuna, Gautam, Pingada, Shankardev, Maitri, Gargi, and Tiruvallur were the kind of the names that are well known in both the country. So this is how that the knowledge system has been generated, and there are so many things where we find that the Indian knowledge system has already adapted several kinds of the terminologies which have been found in the several kinds of the Upanishad and the different kinds of the books that are already published and well versed among us, the Indian people. We could say that that the words like the Vimana, Shalya, Chikitsa kind of the systems were already there in the terminologies of the Indian books, and therefore that this kind of the systems might have been known to the Indian people. This is how that we can interpret all these kind of the things. Exactly, there are certain kinds of the debates over the such kind of the issues when we compare such kind of the things with the modern science, modern philosophy, and modernity. But Indian system has already been there, which was not only giving you the the moral kind of the lessons, but it was also focusing upon the different kinds of the soft skills among the student. If you talk about the Panini, the Panini who has written the Kadambari, the one of the famous book in his ancient times, that he has wrote about the 64 kalas, the 64 arts that to be culminated among the students. When he talks about that 64 kalas, that he talks not only about the mathematics and the that we could say the science, but he is also talking about the different kinds of the the art, different kind of the soft skill. And this is how that such kind of the system was already prevalent, which has been recently mentioned into the NEP 2020. And therefore that the overall, what was the motto of introducing such kind of education system today? The motto behind introducing such kind of the education system in the country is because that we wanted some all-rounder kind of the personalities, because that India is going to become the youngest India in next decade, and because of that we are supposed to be preparing our generations for the forthcoming challenges that are coming towards us. And therefore, my friends, that we know once upon a time that we were living in a compartments, right? Watertight compartments were there. This is your sociology, this is your geography, this is history, and this is like that. But recently that we have realized on a particular time that, you know, that all these subjects are centered around the activities of the human being only, and therefore that the human being is the only center of all the subjects, and therefore that we have broken the boundaries that were dividing these kind of the subjects a few years back. And therefore, my friends, that with this new kind of the system where we are going to be intradisciplinary, where we are going to be interdisciplinary, where we are going to be multidisciplinary kind of the subject that we are going to be introduced, and therefore that we are facing the large number of the challenges in front of us. What will be the first challenge before us? That is, when we are supposed to be talking about the multidisciplinary, it means that we have to introduce our curriculum and design our curriculum according to the needs of the new times. Because that the cluster that you have recently made, so this is the cluster which is going to empower, which is supposed to be empowered to serve the needs of all the students, because whatever they will ask you, that you should have to provide them. If somebody is coming to your institutions with the mathematics in BA and he is asking for the music also, so definitely your institutions must be empowered with these kind of the subjects, and that is how that the delivery of such kind of the subjects to the needy will be the biggest challenge for the most of the institutions who are residing in the rural areas. We know it very well that we are lacking in faculties, we are lacking in infrastructure, we are lacking in, you know, that's different kinds of the educators or the faculty members, different kinds of the streams. Nowadays that we are facing really a difficult time because the government is not filling up the post, and most of the colleges and most of the universities around the country, they are without the faculty. Some of the departments may not have a single faculty also. That is the situation in our university also. And therefore that if these kind of the people will be not available at the institutions, how we are going to implement such kind of the NEP 2020 for the betterment of the student, betterment of the youngsters. So that is the biggest challenge that I find myself. And thereafterwards, yes, another challenge is that merely depending upon the technology, merely depending and believing upon the science, you cannot change the social problems, because the social problems cannot be addressed by the science alone. You know, that previously that we had the problems of, like, you know, the sati pratha was there. Or there are so many other things, like, you know, that the widow marriage kind of the problems were there. So how that we have addressed and how we have resolved these problems? Only by the rational kind of the research, we could say, on that particular subject, that we have made a common consciousness among the people. Common consensus has been built up by the scholars, and therefore these kind of the things have been we could say that permanently there have been some kind of the improvement has been seen in that, and therefore that we could not find such kind of the problems in the modern world. So if the social problems are there, that they cannot be addressed by the science alone, or the technology is not going to help us, it can make certain kind of the impact that is agreed. I know it very well, that the technology and science, they can make impact upon the human being, and they can make our life easy, but they cannot going to be alone to solve the problems of the human behavior, human psychology, and human problems. And therefore, my dear friends, that why we are talking too much about the languages, what we are talking about the heritage, why we are talking about all the histories and memories and so many other things, because these are the things through which that by these kind of the knowledge, by imparting these kind of the knowledge, that we can heal the psychological problems of the masses. And by this way that we can become proud of our own culture and all of our own history also. And therefore that these kind of the subjects are going to play a vital role in the implementation of the NEP 2020 in forthcoming era. Languages is a major problem because UNESCO has also recently, they have already published, I think, a report, and according to them, that almost around 200 languages of the world, they are actually diminishing. So there is a danger to the existence of the different kinds of the languages. When we talk about the languages, and that has been already included into the NEP 2020, that the education has to be imparted in the mother tongue. Is it possible to all of us? Because we have so many mother tongues and so many regional languages in the country. So every language must not have been developed according to the grammar or according to the language parameters, and therefore it may not be considered, because we are already having a different kinds of debates over which is called as a dialect, which should be called as the languages. According to the constitution, that 22 languages have been recognized, and if you could want to depend upon that and believed upon that constitution of the India only, so it will solve the problems of all the people of the country if you will introduce 22 languages, and accordingly that we will set our curriculum and our education system according to the 22 national languages. Probably it may not, because there are so many others. If I will give you the example of the tribal languages, what about them? There are hardly some few languages which have been recognized as a national languages, and so many languages have not been recognized yet. There are 2,500 tribal languages are spoken in the country, and accordingly that it will not be possible and it will not be feasible to go with such kind of the reality. By knowing such kind of the reality, you cannot go for that, and therefore that somewhere that we need to make a compromises with certain kinds of the directions or guidelines that have been recommended into the NEP 2020. And therefore, my dear friends, that this is very much essential for us, that we should have to go for the native languages, we should have to go for the regional languages, we should have to go for the national languages, but at the same time that we should focus upon the international languages also. Because without that international languages, you cannot be capable to use the international platforms. If you cannot use the international platform, that how you are going to deliver them, that what you are, what is your country, what is your nation, and what is your pride, and what is your heritage, and what is your history. So everything that if it has to be communicated to the other world, you need to be well versed in the languages of the other world also. And therefore that merely focusing upon the one single language or few languages of the country can never be solved the problems of all the Indian people. We know it will, that there are so many other kinds of the things. Yes, it is indeed important that we must give importance to the indigenous knowledge system. Yeah, because as the advent of the Britishers, and they have not only that looted the Indian property, Indian wealth, but they have also looted the Indian languages, because they have underestimated the indigenous knowledge system, and they try to impose their own philosophy, their own the civilization kind of the thing, and they considered us as a savages. So that was how that we know in the histories and the knowledge system, and in the practice, the present practice of the education system, we find the different kinds of the glimpses of the colonial education system till the date. And therefore that why there was a need of introducing such kind of the new education policy in the 21st century, because the growing India, the incredible India has found that no, that we have to that we must have to go to our roots, we must have to give importance to the indigenous thoughts, and therefore that we are going back once again to the roots of the Indian knowledge system. And therefore that this NEP is going to be supporting the indigenous Indian knowledge system, which was once upon there, and because of that the world around the globe, that definitely that India had contributed a lot in the economic sector, in the cultural sector, in the scientific temperament, and several other kinds of the things. And therefore that today that we are dreaming about to become the Vishwaguru in the forthcoming years. Why? On the basis of the indigenous knowledge system, which we have lost in the meanwhile, but now that we wanted to rejuvenate it once again with pride. And that is how that we want to tell the world that we are going to become now the self-dependent and self-honored, self-reliant kind of the persons in all the sectors, including the science, technology, and other kinds of the things. Sometimes before that, we were considered as the borrowers of the ideas. Different kinds of the ideas have been borrowed for different kinds of the purposes. But now that we realize that all that kind of the system, that kind of the parameters, they were not suitable to the Indian phenomena. And therefore that we are redressing ourselves, and we are supposed to be reshaping the India in a new perspective with the Indian perspective. That is what is supposed to be included into the NEP 2020. I'm not supposed to be talking in the context of only the social sciences, but the entire NEP system which has been introduced for the benefit of the all the faculties, all the Indians. That is because that we are going to, some kind of the education which we are going to percolate among the youngster, that will naturally make them some kind of the outstanding kind of the personalities in the forthcoming worlds. And therefore there are certain kinds of the challenges that which we could see, like that changing the mindset of the people. So who were the people, who were the stakeholders who are interested in this? We have to be careful about, while introducing such kind of the idea, that we must have to be think about the parents, we must think about the teachers, we must think about the educators, we must think about the policymakers, and we must think about the corporate world also. Unless and until these kind of the stakeholders, they are not accepting the idea of the NEP, it cannot going to become a reality. And therefore, my friends, that this is very much a challenge which I could see in front of the implementation of the NEP 2020, because that we are living in a different kind of the world, that the old generations are still believing upon that pathantar kind of the thing, Ghogapatti, that we could say like that. And therefore that here, that when we talk about the student-centric kind of education system, there that we should have to change the mindset of all these kind of the traditional thinking process. So that is another important thing which is very much important. Not only that one, but adapting the pedagogical changes, that is also very much essential, because you cannot merely depend upon the old kind of the structured kind of the curriculum, or we could say the stereotype kind of the curriculum which was once upon introduced through the different kinds of the that the institutions, like we know that we are working in the university system, and here that we know that what is the function of the BOS, what is the function of the faculty, what is the function of academic council, and that through by this way that we have introduced so many things, we corrected it, we shaped it, we reshaped it, and this is how that the system was going on. But I am little bit, reluctant that whether this kind of the system will be important for this, or we need kind of a straightforward kind of the system where we will immediately we can redesign, we can update our curriculums according to the needs and times of the system. So this is reimagining and adapting a pedagogical changes is one of the major changes before us, because this kind of the change is not going to hamper the higher education only, because we have designed the NEP 2020 from the school to higher education, and this is going to affect everyone. And therefore that at every sector that we need to change, the different kind of the systems. So the curriculum is the first one. Then, previously that what we were practicing the literary and numeracy, the kind of the skills that were inculcated among the students, that where that we will find that, the critical thinking kind of the skill will be developed among us, the students, or only the cognitive skill is going to be developed among the student. This was the system once upon a time, but this is not going to help us, and this is not going to solve the problems at all now. So what kind of the things that we need now? That we need the social and emotional skills among the students also, because this was not never the part of the curriculum earlier, and therefore that's with this NEP 2020, when we talk about the such kind of the holistic kind of the education system, holistic kind of the development of the students, in that we need all that literary, numeracy, and not only that one, but social and emotional kind of the skills, soft skills, which will teach them empathy. We are not here to teach them sympathy, but we are supposed to teach them empathy. And then they will anubhuti, that will come to them, because experience, anubhav and anubhuti, these are the two things. We were supposed to be mostly thought about the anubhav, but anubhuti is a different thing. Then only you can feel yourself into the other's position, and you can take the proper decision. And this is what is the need of the time today. So these are several other things. What are the other changes that we could see? That we could see the changes in the examination pattern. The examination pattern which we have already dreamed of and which has been implemented in our educational system. Is it okay for the time? May not be. And therefore that the examination boards, that we have all that at the 10th class level, at the 12th class level, Now that the NEP has already introduced that a 4-year graduation is going to be implemented by this year 22-23, and where that the one person who has acquired the degree of the 4 year that he is going for the 1 year postgraduate degree kind of the things are going to be reality soon. So we cannot neglect and we cannot ignore such kind of the reality. This is the fact which has been accepted by the government of Maharashtra, government of India, and now this is our turn that we have to implement into our own education systems. And not only that one, but all the books are the study material which has been designed according to the previous kinds of the curriculum and the, that the syllabus, they are going to become outdated now. Now that we have to act fast because we are supposed to be, that we have to link up our study material, our books with the new NEP 2020. And this is the biggest challenge in front of the educators, because most of the times that we think about, but we may not have that kind of the study material. We may not have hard copies. And that is, that the world is also actually churning. There is actually going towards the digital. So digital platforms are there. There are several depositories where you could find material, the IITs, and there are so many acclaimed kind of institutions who have stored their data into the platforms where you can easily access. But this is the biggest challenge for all of us, and not only the the faculty members from the science, but the social science also. We must be empower ourselves to use such kind of the technology for our betterment also. If we are not supposed to be updating ourselves, simply that within few years that we are also going to become outdated and we will not be required for this new generation which is coming up. So therefore that smart teachers is also a requirement in the forthcoming times, and therefore that the training of the educators is one of the challenge. Previously that we know that in education system, that orientation program and that all that we know, there are several kind of the practice refresher course kind of the things. Do you think that these kind of the traditional kind of the systems will help in future? I don't think so. And therefore that today that we are not supposed to be, even the teacher who is specialized in one single subject may not be fit for the system now. And therefore that the teacher has to be multifaceted. He must be the master of several subjects. He must be the master of the languages. He must be the master of humanities. He must be expected something, the knowledge about the science and technology and everything. You cannot say that, I don't know anything about the science. At least being a layman must know, a common person know that kind of the education and that kind of the knowledge is required for the teachers also. And this is the biggest challenge, because when we are supposed to be thinking about the data in the current situation, there is a huge data available, and all these kind of the information, to gather such kind of information is itself a biggest kind of the task in front of not only the student, but in front of the teachers also. And therefore that we have to go towards the grassroots level of the challenges, the bottom-up approach, which is called mostly in academic era. So therefore that we must think about that when we are thinking about the revamping of such kind of the system, we must also think about the improvements in the sector from the grassroots level. So only in the higher education system, if you do certain kind of the changes that are not going to change the attitude, that are not going to help the student, but we have to change entirely the system which is prevalent today. And then only that we will see after 2035 or 40 the fruits of the NEP 2020. When we are talking about the multidisciplinary approach, have you ever thought about our designs of the curriculum? Once again, I'm coming towards the point that when that the student will come to my history department, and if he will ask me about the mathematics and the music or something else, that what should I have to do? And therefore that our boards and our academic bodies, they must be empowered with such kind of the ideas, how to collaborate all these kind of the subjects into the menu of the education system must be a very great idea, but it has to be planned according to very thoughtfully, it has to be designed. So my dear friends, opportunities are there are so many opportunities, and therefore I'm not going to talk about that, because that we are supposed to be going to address the student not only in the classrooms, but the digital platforms are also going to be coming up. Digital universities are going to coming up. ODL system is also has been welcomed. Foreign universities also coming up, and therefore there will be a huge challenge for the teachers and huge challenge for the student. But at the same time, that there will be huge opportunities for all of us. I think there are so many things where I need to focus upon. we are not going to be teaching the student only the theoretical kind of the information, but we should have to be focused upon the applied applied kind of the knowledge, and that way that we will make him more the capable for facing the challenges that are coming up in future. I know it's too much time that I'm talking about, I think more than 30-35 minutes, and hardly I have covered very few points, and this kind of the topic is very spread of kind of the topic, which I cannot make it precise at this moment. That you have given me a wonderful chance to interact with all the faculty members, the teachers, and the authorities of the colleges. I'm really thankful to all of you. I know it very well that the topic has not been addressed as maybe as per the requirement of the today's seminar, but probably that some of the points which I have spoken, they are not mentioned in anywhere in the books, and they are maybe useful in the future kind of the this kind of the deliberation. So I thank you all once again, and I will be taking your leave. I have to be appear for one of the important meeting also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for researchful, studious, and informative speech. Sir, your researchful speech highlighted many challenges that we have to face in National Education Policy 2020. You made crystal clear the role of various subjects in new education policy. We praise your view that being local, we have to be global. Thank you very much for joining us and expressing your valuable thoughts on new education policy. Thanks once again. Now, I would like to invite the chairperson of the second technical session, Dr. Mathankar sir, to share his valuable views on the topic. Over to Mathankar sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are absolutely audible.
Okay. First of all, good morning to everybody who have joined this very prestigious webinar on the required topic that is streaming all over in the India, right from the KG to PG. I extend my sincere gratitude towards the organizing college, the management, the principal, Dr. Haribhav Virudkar sir, the organizer, Dr. Deepak Chavan sir, and all the principals of the Koti and all the participants who have joined this webinar. If Dr. Koreti is hearing me, and I don't know whether he is hearing or he has left the meeting, but it seems that he is still there. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I really feel proud when I heard that a student from Kochi, which is the last, I think, the place of the Maharashtra, right? And a student from Kochi is elevated to such a great position in Nagpur University. I really feel proud of you that this is the first time I heard about you, and I feel very proud for you. And really, sir, you have delineated yourself and expressed your view on the NEP 2020. And first thing is that I feel that instead of expressing the opportunities of NEP, you have really made the point regarding the challenges of the NEP. There are so many challenges. There is always a thing that when an old system changes to a new system, we faces many problems regarding the old system, and that the transformation of the old into new required some infrastructure, required some technology, required many things. And when I think that regarding any new system, implementation is very important. Drafting a new system in the AC room is very different, and the implementation of that, whether as Dr. Shyam Koreti mentioned, that the grassroots level, the practicality of that particular implementation is very important. so far as we don't put the excuses of the rural India, but see, rural India is always there. For if you want to introduce some new thing, you must consider the grassroots challenges, we can say, when introducing any new system. I'm talking about NEP 2020. Many people think that, means as Dr. Shyam Koriti has also said regarding the 64 class that was introduced, that has been introduced in this new system, which was there in the ancient education system of India. But I think that introducing the skills only and without thinking about their proper implementation to the grassroots level of, we can say, the rural India, unless and until you don't think about this implementation, the effectiveness of that particular system will not attain the required goal, even by the state government also, and even by the central government also, and the educationists who have designed, who have drafted this new education system. Yes, I do agree that India is in the need of new education system, as we had been followed the old education system drafted and designed by Machiavelli, and the persons and the country who ruled over India for 150 years. But yes, I really agree that there should be a new system which thinks about the different strata of the society. The students who are living in metros, students who are living in 1 tier, 2 tier and 3 tier cities, and the students who live in Kochi. Now, basically, if we talk about the implementation at our university level of NEP 2020, there is a lot of pressure from the central government on the state government, and the pressure of state government on the vice chancellors of the universities of Maharashtra to implement it. So implementation is different from my point of view, and effective implementation of anything is very much different. If we need to have that system in a real manner, effective implementation is the thing which we should think about. Now, I am not going to tell you that what are the opportunities and what are the challenges. Yes, there are many challenges as compared to the opportunities. Opportunities may be there because it's a new system and it is designed according to the new area. Yes, opportunities are there. But what about the challenges? Challenges means, see, our university has introduced a new syllabus which is skill-based. Now, what percentage of skill is introduced in the syllabus of this humanities and social sciences? This is unknown to the students also, and this is unknown to the faculties who are going to teach this. There should be a workshop. There should be an introductory sessions for the various colleges that work under the jurisdiction of Nagpur University. I think I heard, if I am not wrong, that Amravati University has conducted many workshops regarding this implementation of new skill-based syllabus. See, choice-based credit system is another point where we have to think about it, because how many credits are given to a particular subject? This is also unknown to all of us, even me also, even the principals of the colleges. I'm not talking about the stakeholders who are related to this education system. I think that the student is the main stakeholder, right? They should know about, they should have any idea regarding, yes, the notification is there from the university that we have introduced skill-based syllabus. Now, what are the skills that has been introduced? There should be a workshop on this for the faculty members, and these faculty members will then propagate this particular things to the students who are the main stakeholders, on the basis of whom we are earning our bread and butter. Second thing is that Many points are there. That is, see that ABC system is there. Academic Bank of Credit is there. Now, what is this Academic Bank of Credit? It is completely related to the students who are still unaware about it. If the credits are deposited in the banks and that credit is used for the, if it is used for the certificate course, if it is used for the diploma, if it is used for the degree, then it must be known to the students of the university. It must be known for whom it is designed. We see that Academic Bank of Credit is there. It is called as ABC. Many students have registered for that. They even don't know what is the use of this Academic Bank of Credit. They even don't know what is skill-based syllabus. Even the colleges don't know that what is the development plan for the colleges, where we have to concentrate on it. I am not criticizing any machinery. I am not criticizing any government. I am just want to make my point that whenever you are going to implement a new thing, the infrastructure for that, the technology for that, and the things which are needed for that should be ready for all these things. This is my point. Dr. Shyam Koreti has rightly introduced new education policy with the challenges also and with the opportunities also. Yes, he made one point that in India, it's a very diversified country. We have so many mother tongues. And education in mother tongue is a good thing, because a person who have education in mother tongue can have a better idea of that thing which he is going to learn, or somebody who taught him. But at the same time, we must think about the international level of education. Yes, if myself, if I am, mother tongue, I have mother tongue, my mother tongue is Marathi. Yes, if I read anything in Marathi, it appeals to me. But this is not the same thing that many people have got, we can say that mastery in other foreign languages also. Because you know that for doing MS and post-graduation education in the engineering and other technological fields, students go to foreign countries. For that, they have to first learn. If they go to Germany, they have to learn German. If they go to China, they have to learn China. So all these things are there. People are learning. People are gathering the knowledge regarding the languages. But yes, Dr. Shyam Koreti has expressed that it is not going to be an easy task for implementing NEP 2020 for in an effective way. My personal view on NEP is that there are 3 to 4 things which need to be concentrated on by the university to make the students aware, the faculty aware, and there should be an awareness program. There should be an awareness workshop at the university level, so that the people get acquainted with all this new terminology. That first thing is that Academic Bank of Credits. Second thing is that skill-based syllabus. Third thing is that institutional development plan. And the fourth thing is that choice-based credit system. Last but not the least, I must thank Dr. Shyam Koreti, and I'm the chairperson of that technical session. He has put forth his point before all of us in a very enlightened manner, and I am really thankful to the organizer and the college who have organized this straight level webinar for the awareness of the stakeholder. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your informative and stimulating views on national education policy. Thank you very much for sharing
your experience, first-hand experience in facing challenges while implementing the new education policy. You have emphasized the implementation of new education policy as the ground reality is different. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. Now, the last part of this segment is proposing vote of thanks. I would like to invite Dr. Neeraj Kende sir to propose the vote of thanks. Over to Dr. Kende sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kharse sir. It's been an honor and pleasure to propose vote of thanks for the second technical session of the webinar. First of all, I would take opportunity to thank Chairperson of the second technical session, Honorable Dr. Nitin Matankar sir, Principal Vasantrao Kolatkar, Arts College, Rona. Sir, you have expressed valuable views on NEP and such expert comments on talk of the Dr. Shyam Koreti also. We welcome your suggestions to, especially regarding to the students. You have emphasizes on the conducting workshop for the student, and it's real that students are not aware of the new education policy, as well as the teachers are also not aware of the how to implement properly NEP. Thank you for your accepting. Thank you for accepting our invitation and joining with us. And once again, I am very thankful to you, sir. Then I express my deep sense of gratitude to Dr. Shyam Koreti sir, Associate Dean and Head of the Department of History, RTMNU, Nagpur. Sir had started his speech from referring the ancient tradition of Indian education system. Then there is a comparison between the technical education and humanities also. He expressed very well the role of languages in NEP. Then importance of indigenous knowledge system. He also throw some lights on pedagogical changes and curriculum in through NEP. And in short, I can say that he expressed why we need education system, a new education policy, what is the new education policy, and how we could implement the new education policy. We are overwhelmed with your talk, sir. Thank you very much for joining with us, sir. We are thankful to Dr. D.M. Chauhan, sir, who has organized this wonderful webinar. And we are also thankful to our principal, Honorable Dr. H.R. Vedkar, sir, for inspiring us to do such webinars. I am also thankful to all the participant, IQSC coordinator, Dr. Vijay Kharse, sir. Then the technical advisor, Professor Dr. Amar Sote and Professor Shailesh Khandare for unconditional support, their unconditional support. Once again, I thank you each and everyone who has directly or indirectly support us to make this webinar successful. With the due permission of the chairperson of the program, I conclude here and I can see that the program is over. Thank you for having with us.